Okay, this is the very last video in the Geometry Semester 2 final review. So problem 47, write a similarity statement for the two triangles below. Well, first let's make sure these two triangles are similar, and I'm going to do that by seeing if all of the sides are proportional. So I'm going to take my two smallest sides and I'm going to set them into a ratio, and I get 0.4. Then I'm going to take my next two largest sides and I'm going to set them into a ratio. Ooh, look, when I do that, I get 0.6. So these two shapes cannot be similar because the sides are not proportional. So we can't write a similarity statement. Now, on 48, points K and L are points of tangency. Now, we learned that if we have two lines that are tangent to the same circle and meet at a point at the same point in space, that those two lines are congruent. So I'm just going to set that the length of both of these lines are congruent or equal to each other, and then I'm going to use algebra to solve and get that x equals 4. Find the value of x and y in this diagram. Okay, well notice that y is a measure of an arc. Remember, measure of an arc is the same as its central angle. And then that x is an angle inside a triangle, inside the circle. Well, they give me a 75-degree angle in another triangle. And I know this is an isosceles triangle because the sides are the radius, and the radius is the same no matter where you draw it. So that has to be 75. So I can figure out the central angle of that, or the other angle of that triangle is 30. Now, I know I have vertical angles here. So in the triangle that has the x in it, that angle also must be 30, which makes a 75-degree angle. Now remember, the central angle is the same as the arc, measure of the arc. So the arc formed by these triangles are both 30 degrees. So if I take 360 degrees, which is the degrees in a circle, and I subtract those two arcs, I'm going to get that the remaining arcs have to add up to 300. Well, both of my arcs are the exact same, so I'm going to divide that 300 by 2, and I get that y equals 150 degrees. And the very last problem. What is the measure of minor arc HK? So I'm going to draw this on there so you can see where it is. Well, I know part of HK, but I don't know the other. So I really need to find the measure of angle JGK. And I'm going to do that by taking the semicircle and subtracting the two angles out of that semicircle I know. And that's going to give me that the measure of JGK is 78 degrees. And then I can just add 78 and 72 together to get the measure of arc HK is 150 degrees.